I'm gonna explain myself to my people. Guys, okay, so I did, as promised, I was supposed to have an IG live today at 1 p.m. No later. We did go live. We tried a couple of times, but unfortunately, we had to we had to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It took forever until we finally got it done. We did the IG live. It was amazing. It was perfect. But unfortunately, when we tried to save it, we were not able to save the video. So it disappeared. So now I'm back again because I know I have to deliver on my promises. That's why I'm back again, and I got another friend so that it doesn't feel like we like repeating the same thing over and over again. So I asked Sibonga Mavimbela, a good friend of mine, to join me again. We're going to be discussing the same questions, but obviously it's going to be a bit different because it's a different person, so different opinion. So I'm going to add Sibonga just now, and then we're going to start again the interview. Then this time around, I hope everything is going to be like in sync and perfect. Yeah? Just be patient with me. Oh, yay! Yours works first time. What the hell? What was wrong with my world? Wow.
Hello.
Okay. Okay. Hi, Bube. Unchan friend.
Good, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Okay. I was about to say your lighting is not so great. Seems fine now. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
now it's fine.
yeah.
You can see you. And people can see you. Okay, so first, before we start, I've explained myself to the people and my very unfortunate situation today. But before we
Yeah.
start, just Jay, introduce yourself, your full name and surname, and I think that's about it because it's not something formal where you need to tell us your qualifications and all your trauma. Yeah.
All right. So name, Sibonga Mavimbela. Preferably Sibonga. That's what everybody calls me.
Mm.
Um, I don't know how. I don't have the most awesome resumes out there, but by qualification, yeah, by qualification, I'm an electrical engineer. Recently graduated UKZN. Um,
Mm.
but at this point in time, I'm working with an organization called TBT at Howard College.
Mm.
So
Cool.
yeah,
I almost like mocked you there. I'm like, you recently graduated, 10 minutes graduation.
yeah. Anyway, that was hectic. That was hectic. That was hectic.
You guys, I'm sure you guys wanted to die, man. Okay,
Yeah.
so okay, let's start. So the first question, basically the first thing we're going to discuss is why do you think it's important to have like the right circle or the right network of friends around you as a person?
Um. Well, to quote something you said in one of your videos, friends have a potential of becoming a chosen family. Um.
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with the families that we born in, we we can't choose. So with the friends that we keep, we definitely have a choice.
Mhm.
There's a saying that says, "Show me your friends, I'll tell you your
Mm.
future." So a good circle that you keep, or the friends that you keep, actually do says a lot about you.
True, true. And
Yeah.
then you should really see, there's this other quote they say that you are your top five friends, basically. So
Mm.
like your five closest friends reflect who you are as a person and as an individual. Okay,
Yeah.
so in my opinion, I feel like it's important to have the right circle because basically you've got different parts to your life, Nick. You've got your academics, there's your spiritual life, there's your emotional life, and then there's your family, and then there's your friends, obviously. So you need to have
Mm.
that balance. If I'm having this friend, which part of my life are they contributing, Yabo? Are they
Mm.
contributing something or are they not contributing anything at all type of thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm, mm. Okay, so the next thing is let's talk about those friends. I know sometimes it's my hand. Baba, ababa. I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes Nami, like sometimes it gets to me and I'm like, ah, this person matter. Why do they always have to be like the mother or the father in the friendship? Why can't they just be like friends and just like chill? We are born.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's those friends who become like the older, like the mother or the father or the older brother or the older sister in the friendship. Do you think those are important or not?
Definitely. I think they're equally important as those that brings fun in our friendships.
Yeah.
The truth is, as we grow up, Yabo, we want to focus most on the fun part, especially in our late teens and our early 20s. We want to focus a lot on the fun stuff and living wild, going out there. But we need people who will be able to ground us. I think
Yeah.
one of the Greeks sayings, it says that for a tree to grow taller and stronger, it has to have deeper roots. So you need people who are going to be able to pull you down, to be able to ground you. And unfortunately, with one of those things, it's one of those things that's not really, really nice. They might look like party poopers, or people who are always serious, people who are always strict and uptight. But we do need friends like that. We need friends who are going to be real with us. Um,
And hold
and
us
I
accountable basically for our actions.
exactly, and I believe that's one of the most important form of love. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
selfless. They don't care if you think they're fun or cool, as long as at the end of the day you grow up to be a good person or a strong person or successful
Absolutely.
person, depending on what avenue are they working on in your life. But I think that's a parental love, and it's always amazing to have friends who have that kind of love.
Okay.
Um,
Can you repeat the quote for me?
for
The one
the
that you
Greek
just
quote,
said with the deep roots.
yeah, for a tree to grow stronger and higher, it needs to have deeper roots.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Got that. Because I got it in the network was cutting a little bit, so we couldn't
Oh
get the
yeah,
full.
yeah.
Yes.
Sorry about
Okay.
that.
No stress. The next question is basically mentorship. So first of all, do you think mentorship is important?
Oh yeah. I think if you're in your 20s and you don't have a mentor, you need to reevaluate your life. I'm sorry,
You
but you need,
know.
yeah, you need to reevaluate your life. Because there's also a saying that says life cannot be life is supposed to be lived forward but can only be understood backwards. So you can only understand your life when you look back. So
Yeah.
a mentor is that person who has lived a life that you're living and probably knows what you're facing. Maybe not into details, but they are aware of what you might be going through, and you need that person.
Mm. Okay, so I'm understanding Wuti, as friends, value, you normally have friends around your age group, né?
Yeah,
But I still equally believe Wuti, as much as you need a mentor who's grown in that specific field, they often like you as a person. It's also important to have that friend of yours who you treat as your friend and a mentor. Just for accountability, okay, fine. If you set a goal, you need to have a
mm,
friend, at least one of your friends you're going to tell about that goal, so that they can hold you accountable. Like, for example, if I tell you, Sibonga, I'm thinking of going to gym. First of all, I need someone who's going to push me and be like, hey, have you signed the gym membership? We have one.
that's me.
Once I sign the membership, there needs to be someone who's going to be like, did you go to gym today? Or
Yeah,
did you sleep the whole day type of vibe? So I feel like as much as we need a mentor who's experienced in the field, but having your friend as your mentor, it's also great because they can hold you accountable for basically your goals. And
yeah,
ultimately, then you can become a bit more successful, hopefully.
yeah. And sorry to interrupt. I think accountability also is one of the things that people take for granted. Um,
Mm,
if you have someone whom you're accountable, it kind of helps you with a lot of troubles, with a lot of things that you might be doing. So, for instance,
yeah.
if I have someone who nags me every single time about studying, I know, even though I might not enjoy it, but I'm just going to be like, let me just go study before she calls and asks me if I studied. Let me just do one,
Yeah.
two, and three. So, at the end of the day, it teaches you how to be disciplined, how to grow in that aspect because you know someone is going to check up on you, someone is going to yell at you
Mm.
if you haven't done that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and I'm sure obviously you don't like the process, but you
definitely,
will be
definitely.
glad they did it because the results will show, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
basically they always say the beginning is exciting, the process is very messy, but the end is gorgeous and pretty, and we all love the end, right?
Yes.
So it's basically what you're saying. It's basically
Yeah.
what you're saying.
I,
The next,
I
mm-hmm,
I had a friend, sorry, I had a friend who who was a bit older than me while we were studying, and he would probably come almost all the time to my place, tells me, dude, let's go study.
mm,
And at first it was fun because then I I needed to study. But
mm.
then there were times where I wasn't writing any tests, I didn't have any assignments, so I didn't see any need to study.
See the
So he would
need.
come to, yes, so he'd come to my place almost all the time. I started dodging, and I started dodging him. Sometimes I'll tell him earlier that, hey dude, I think I'm not going to be around, and just lock my room. Um, as time went by, I sat down with myself. I'm like, what am I doing? This person
Mm,
is out there genuinely spending his time trying to help me, but I
yeah,
am using all of my effort that I should be directing to my studies, trying to avoid him. Helped. I started becoming more disciplined on my
yeah,
studies. I started focusing on my studies.
yeah.
I started actually desiring more studies and having the will to actually go study.
Yes, yes, awesome.
Yeah,
Excellent. And then, okay, now I know we don't want to be, I feel like as people in general, as fun, some people love it when everyone is all up in their love life, and
yeah,
I'm telling you everything about what's happening in my relationship, with my boyfriend, this and this and this and this and this. Some people just love it, they enjoy it, but some people prefer privacy and they like it when they have their own little world with their boyfriend, and you only bounce in when they need some
or
level of
girlfriend,
advice.
or girlfriend.
Well, I'm a girl, dude. I'm speaking from a girl's perspective. Don't judge. How? Let me speak. How? So,
Okay.
how do you feel? So there's a question. Remember, I told you, Uti, we had a live before. So there's a question was peer raised. She said, when do you know how far you should stand away from your friends' romantic relationships, basically? So what's the boundary? Like let's say in terms of like, for example, me and you, because you're a good friend of mine, we're very close. And then I'm like, when do you draw the line? Because as in manje, you just you crossing a boundary that you should never cross type of
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah, boy, it's enough.
I think like every other relationships, communication is very important with
Yes.
friendship. Also, not just communication, but understanding. I need to be
Yes.
able to understand what kind of a friend you are. As you were saying, there are people who are happy when you talk about their relationships, like they want to talk about their relationships. So if a person is that person, I need to be aware of this person is like that. So I have friends who every single time they want to talk about their girlfriend all the time. Well, my girlfriend this, my girlfriend that, and then they're never, not even
Mm.
once spoken anything about their girlfriend. So I think if you care about a
Okay,
person
okay,
enough,
wait,
you
wait. Okay, so we're back. So we're back. I was
yeah
waiting for it to come back. Cool. Okay. So you were telling me, Uguti, as I explained, Uguti abantu are different. So you need to understand, Uguti, what type of friend that specific person is, so that you
yeah
know how you can go about, like, basically knowing their business, like in terms of like their romantic relationships and stuff.
yeah
Okay. So you were saying something. You can say
yeah.
it.
I was saying it's important to know umuntu odila ukuthi umuntu kanjani. So if umuntu kumuntu who okay, so asiqale la. Just like in any other relationship also, we in our friendship have compromises. So sometimes
Yeah.
you'd have to do things that you're not comfortable with because it makes your friends happy because
Yeah.
they want to do that, right? You have to go to the movies with your friends because they love this movie and you know it's boring, but you have to. They're your friends. So same thing
Yeah.
when it comes to relationships. There are people who feel like you really care about them if you speak about their relationships, if you talk to them
Yes.
about their own relationship. So if it gets to that point, I feel it's important to talk about that. But obviously there are privacy boundaries. We can't talk about what you guys are doing. We There are things that we can't talk about. But
Yes.
definitely, let's talk about that. If you know your friends cares about their girlfriend and they want you to ask them, hey, how's your girl doing? When was the last time? When's her birthday? Or if her birthday is close, what do you have any plans? What's the plan for Valentine's Day? And then there are those friends
Yes.
who really don't want anything regarding that. So the best thing you could do, you can still ask, hey, how's your girlfriend? How's your boyfriend? And then that's just it. Just stop there. Just show that you care.
Immediately.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So you still need to show that you care. But at the same time, you don't need to push. I think um it becomes a problem when, let's say, you see things about the other partner that you don't like. So I once was with this girl, um and when things didn't work out, my friends, all of them, they were like, "Oh, thank you, finally." And to be honest, I was hurt. I was hurt not
I did
because
not do that.
yeah,
Lalela, I
you
did
were.
not do that.
Oh, actually. So I wasn't hurt because the things ended the way they did, but I was hurt because my friends were with me all along and not pretending per se, but they saw that things went good. They recognized that I wasn't happy in a relationship, but nobody cared to say anything. I mean, maybe I might have given them a wrong impression, but I think as friends we need to be real with each other as much as we want to stay outside of each other's business.
I think that's a yo, I'm so guilty right
Yeah.
now. It's not
No.
even funny. I think apart from that they didn't care. Sometimes more than there's this thing sometimes you want to say something, but the person seems so happy that you don't want to ruin it. Yabo. Especially
Yeah.
if it's not something too hectic. Like for example, if your girlfriend wasn't cheating, then yeah, well maybe they felt like as in it's fine, they'll survive. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Yabo.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's one of the benefits of being friends is you get to be real with each other. We're not just talking about
Yes.
fake friends here. We're talking about people who are your friends and they're
And
real with you.
genuine real friends. Yes,
Genuine,
yes.
real
That
friends.
is
Yeah.
another thing we discussed was that I discussed in one of my videos actually was if basically first let's understand your definition of friend. Then I'll because this resonates with like the definition of like someone you consider and someone you call a friend in your world.
Um, I think a friend is someone whom you can rely on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's someone whom you trust. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's someone whom you're willing to go out of your way to see them happy. I mean, there are a lot of
Yes.
aspects and things that we could define, but it's someone also whom you are willing to um, to be educated by.
Yes.
That could mean a whole different things, but it's someone. If they were to sit me down and say, "Hey, dude, listen, you're not doing right here," they are that person whom I would want to listen to attentively.
Yes. So you'd want
Yeah. So
to
for
have like so
yeah,
the opinion matters basically.
yes, basically. So if I was walking in the streets and someone came and said to me, "Dude, that those pants don't look good on you," I'd be like, "Why do I care? Who are you?" But if a friend of mine came to me and said, "Hey, dude, listen, um, I don't think those pants look good on you. Well, we might joke
You
about
should
it.
continue buying those.
We might joke about it. But at the end of the
Mm,
day, as I go back to my place and I'm going to look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe they're right. Maybe I can now go
they
back
were
to them and
right.
like, so what do you think it makes them not good for me or what? But it's a person whom their opinion matters, as you said.
Okay, got it. So what I was gonna say was, one of the like really good parts of having someone you consider a friend is that they should allow you to be your truest self, like your truest, honest self. If you are crazy and you swear all the time, they should be able to live with that. Is who you
Yeah,
are. You're gonna be crazy, you're gonna swear. If you are a nerd and you always wanna go study, that's who you are. And if you want to always go to church or you want to always go clubbing or whatever it is that defines you as a person, they should allow you to be genuinely you when you're around
I
them.
like that.
And you shouldn't
I
be,
like that.
yeah, and you shouldn't be like for example, if I'm saying, okay, fine, Sibonga, let's go and grab like lunch. You should be comfortable to order. First of all, you should be comfortable to order whatever you want to order. You should be comfortable to tell me what's as in I don't like that restaurant. Can't we go to another restaurant? Yeah, well,
Yeah,
without feeling as if you need to do things just to fit in the friendship. Yeah, but
that's true. That's true. I like what you said about allowing you to be the most genuine um, form of yourself. I think
yeah,
one of the struggles is, especially at this day and age, we want to impress people so much that we are not comfortable with who we are. So
yes, you
everybody
lose
who
yourself.
yeah, anybody who's my friend will tell you that I'm a very playful person. Like I like playing around. I diss a lot of people. Um,
Yeah.
that's to me, if you're my friend, that's how I am, right? But you find people who forces you to be this quiet person or to be this person whom you're not, and I think um that's that's not a friendship I would want to be in.
Yes, because it's sort of like not worth it because you're kind of not
Yeah,
growing or not getting better at anything at any point in your life.
yeah.
The next part we're going to discuss is a bit sensitive because it includes your family. So
Okay.
I know you're home, so keep your mouth with this.
Why the door is locked? Yeah,
Okay, so basically, we all know, Uzi, guys, there's a black tax, and there's always going to be that family member who's going to feel like Jay, they living their youth through you at some point in your life. If you haven't had that, then you're very lucky. If you have, how do you deal with that with your friends, basically? Let's say, for example, I'm a student. Okay, fine. Let's say now we're working. Hasn't been
yeah.
So now we're working, and then and you can see ukuthi in ekhaya, they just like they're at a point where they're using me now. Like say me eight, I'm like a walking ATM. Or wonke umuntu, let's say I have an apartment and wonke umuntu just comes and visits. Engaphathi lutho, they stay for months and I have to take care of all the expenses and I don't do anything about it because I'm just on some, no, they my family, what. How do you deal with such situations? How do you sit me down and be like, you know what, now it's like this, like type of thing. How do you deal with those?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I guess also, as you said, it's a bit sensitive. Uh,
Mm,
well, it's easier to deal with it if someone is actually struggling. Let's say your family is milking you and you don't like it. Yeah, it's easier
yes.
for us to find a way out because you're also not happy about it. I think the
Mm,
hardest one is when a person is happy about it or is okay about it. Now they're my
yeah.
family. Um, they can come and sit or whenever they want to. I think that's the hardest one because firstly you need to make sure that person is aware of how much firstly money they are spending. Number two, how much time they're spending and how
Mm,
much effort they have to spend to impress people who would never be impressed by anything. Because
yes.
because I think a family member who does that is the same person if you were to allow them to live in your house for 7 months without paying rent, and then one day you say, "Hey, dude, sorry, you need to leave." They would be ungrateful for the rest of 7 months they stayed in your house. They would still name call you, label you, and maybe bakhulume kabi
And
ngithina
I feel like,
semndenini.
sorry to interrupt, and I feel like it's also those
Fine.
people who you allow them to stay in your at your place, for example, for 4 months. They don't pay rent, no electricity, no water. They don't even buy food. Umuntu akathengi ngisho isinkwa, guys, isinkwa. But then
Yeah.
when you like struggling financially and you pick up your phone and you call them and you be like,
Mm.
dude, can you please help me with some money? They're the ones who always say, but when we are sebenza I don't have money, what. But when it's time for them to receive, you have to deliver.
Yeah. I
Mm,
think going back to the question that you asked,
mm,
one of the main important things that I've learned is you don't talk to a person about such things if they are in that situation. So I can't talk to you about your family if you do have a family member who's visiting you right now. Um,
yes.
I need to make sure that your family member is not there when I sit you down, and then maybe we start with where do you want to be 4 years, 5 years time, and then
Mm,
we walk it back as to how what you're doing right now would affect you 2 years, 3 years down the line. So, for instance, if your plan is to maybe finish your apartment and that's what you want to do, 4 years, 5 years down the line, get married. If you're a guy, I could sit you down and make sure that you are aware of the thousands that you're spending on someone who's not appreciative. We're not saying we're not supposed to support our families, but
yes.
um, obviously there is some extent to it, right?
So a lie.
Firstly, yes, they need to be that line, right? Even if you're
Mm,
helping a kaya, even if you're helping a kaya, first of all, do help a kaya whenever you can. Do help a
mm,
kaya, but they need to be aligned because then you're running a risk of building another generation that's going to suffer the same thing you're suffering because you
yeah,
can't create your wealth, you can't create anything that is going to substantiate you as you go forward. Then you're going to have kids who they would have to
it's in track.
feed you or feed your sisters. So it's going to be the same thing over and over again. So I think it will be important to sit you down. Obviously, when the family member is not there, sit you down,
Mm,
make you aware of how much money you are spending and how much and what actually are you planning on doing. So
yeah,
that needs a lot of things. That means you, as my friend, you need to know where you want to be first. Because if you don't know, then it's a problem on its own. Um,
very,
Also,
yeah.
we need to be comfortable with each other to talk about finances because friendships and money, you know how that
Very sensitive.
you know
I
how
know.
that
Those are like all
becomes.
the
Yeah,
sensitive spots right now. Family,
yeah,
friendship, relationships. It's all those like sensitive spots, Jay, that we're
yeah,
discussing, man.
yeah,
But I think, and what I can add is that if you are a good friend, you will sit them down, even if it means there's like that slight, very slight risk of losing them as a friend. But at least they
yeah.
will know the truth. Yeah, but you would have done your part. You would have done your part. They would know the truth, and basically, it would then be up to them to decide what they want to do going
Yeah.
forward.
And I
Cool.
think
Mm.
to add on what you're saying, the problem with friendship at this day and age is because you're always running a risk of losing a friend, right? People cannot handle the authenticity and genuine people. So if I'm gonna tell you
In
that, hey,
truth
dude,
and honesty and truth.
yeah, if I'm gonna sit you down and tell you, see, Bethu, khonto kanje 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 kumele uyilungise. You're gonna go and tell your other friends ukuthi usibonga uthe. Yabo? You're
Mm,
gonna tell some of our friends ukuthi, hey, phela I had a family member who was visiting me. Then usibonga thought it was the best
mm.
idea to tell me ukuthi, yabo, people cannot handle that at this point in time, especially our friends, especially
Okay, you're back
Yes.
again.
Yeah. So I was saying, Guti, the problem is with our generation, the early 20s and the young adults, is we're too fragile. If someone brings something that's real to us, it's either the
We
friendship
can't handle
breaks.
it.
Yeah, we really can't handle it. And I think that's firstly that's where you realize who your genuine friends are. If someone
Yes.
if someone is with a person and I think that person is not good because of one, two, and three, and I have enough reasons and concrete reasons for that. And mind you, we're not just saying you don't like a person. I'm saying you have concrete reasons for that. And if I tell you and you can't handle that, it should make me question if our friendship is going anywhere. So same thing when it comes to family matters. If if I tell you something about your family or something that you need help with, and you are struggling to understand and to take that with a pinch of salt, then it means you are not willing to be grown as a friend. And that defiles the first aspect of friendship, to grow each other.
Mhm. Okay, so we have our first question. Ulilita Uti, you have friends from different stages of life. Yo, yeah.
Yes.
How does one deal with the drama? Basically, sometimes it's jealousy that comes when these friends meet. Yo, I was like, I have like an entire story on that. Oh my God. Um,
Yeah.
I think first to answer Ulilit, you answered just now. I think the first thing we need to understand that our success journeys and our success timelines are different, Jay, as
Yeah.
human beings. Because I remember when I finished matric, I had like a group of friends, and then when I started varsity, I started losing my friends because most of them didn't get into like universities or colleges and stuff. So it became a bit of a problem to try and keep a connection, and they were not understanding the concept of ukuthi now I'm meeting new people and I'm making new friends. So it was a bit
Yeah.
hard. I think the main thing to understand ukuthi your success journeys are different. And the timelines are different. So the minute you understand that, I feel it's going to be a bit easier to juggle and to understand why they're jealous, how to sort out the jealousy and all the drama. But hey, over to you. What's your
Mm.
opinion?
So could you please paraphrase the question? I feel like Kuninja and either was helpful.
She said basically, how do you deal with like jealousy or like friendship disputes or conflicts when you start meeting friends at different stages of your life. Let's say, how do you deal with you had friends in high school, now they're meeting up with your university friends. So basically
Okay.
now it's different people, different stages, different perspectives, and then now there seems to be a bit of jealousy creeping in. So how do you deal with that?
First of all, you need to understand as a person that um, nothing is permanent in life. The friendship can last.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Friendships can last a lifetime, right? But the amount of time that you guys spend is not always going to be yours. Typical example: if you get married today, the amount of time you spend with your husband is 24 hours. Then you get kids. Now it has to be split. It has to be split among three kids. Um, you get a dog.
So it amongst four people because now it's the kids plus my husband. Plus, I still need to
So
make time for myself.
exactly. So if your husband was a jealous person, he'll start complaining. Yeah, I feel like you're spending more time with the kids and not me. Um, so first thing that's important to understand is the fact that I spend or my journey has taken a detour to varsity, and I can't
Mm,
by no means spend enough time with my high school friends. That does not mean
yes.
that I don't love my high school friends. Which brings
Yes.
another
Does not.
point. Yeah, which brings
Mm.
another point. Friendship doesn't mean that we talk every single day. Um,
Amen. Can you please
you are
repeat
my
that for me? Please.
you're
Yo,
my
people
friend.
didn't get
We can go for 3 months without talking, but we understand each other and we know that we're
it.
friends. I think in this day and age, if you're my friend, you have to talk to me every single day. You have to check up on me. If you don't check up on me, you're not my friend.
And you
So
don't
yeah, exactly. You don't care. And just taking a right detour on that, some people assume that if you care, you're gonna know everything. Sometimes caring means you need to tell me things, and I have to show you that I care, right? Um,
care. Amen.
so so if you have friends
And I
that
feel
you
like,
refer,
just to disturb
yeah,
you a bit, I feel like sometimes caring also mean it. Sometimes caring could just mean I'm just there when you need me. You
exactly,
know, don't have to tell me what's going on. You don't have to tell me what happened. You just have to say, hello, Sibonga, I need an hour of your time, please. And you just come
yeah,
through. Sometimes you could just like come and say,
yeah, mm,
doesn't mean you care less. Yeah, but so it's
yeah,
definitely
and
what you're
I'm
saying. I definitely agree
yeah,
with that.
and I mean to be honest, that's the most important part of our friendship. Was when you were at
Mm.
Westville and I was struggling with some things at school. I'd call you, Spay, and Malu, and I would just come and chill with you guys. Didn't mean that I had to
You
tell you
know,
guys everything, but just being there and being around you guys was what I needed at that time. So now the here's the
mm,
difference. Now you're working and you're in
mm,
Joburg, and I'm working. I'm in Durban. It's
mm,
practically impossible for me to spend time with you the same way I would spend time with my Durban friends. So that means obviously I'm gonna spend more time with them. I'm gonna be going out with them, and you're gonna be finding new friends. And
mm.
I think we need to grow up as people. Let me just put it like that. We need to grow up. When I'm
Cool
when I'm
plan, you guys.
yeah, when I meet your friends whom you've met in Joburg, that shouldn't by no means make me feel like I've been replaced. If I trust the value that I have in your life, meeting
Mm.
10,000 of friends would never replace me. Unless if I feel like as
Yes,
a friend I'm not doing enough or I haven't done enough, then I should be worried.
exactly.
But if I'm doing enough and I'm honest and genuine, so you
Mm.
meeting a new friend, 10, 20 friends in the future should not threaten my idea of what friendship is with you.
I feel like instead of you feeling threatened, you should feel like, oh, okay, we're growing, because that means you're adding more value to the friendship. Because obviously, if you're
Yeah,
adding new people, it means you're adding more genuine people to the circle, which means you're all
yeah,
growing basically. So, okay, I'm on. That's
yeah,
very
yeah,
powerful. That's very powerful.
yeah.
Um, what was the last thing, the other thing we had to discuss? Um, favors. Friends will always a
That
friend
one.
who would always call my guy, I need 50 rand. My guy, I need 100 rand. Like
Yeah,
when do you put your foot down and be like no? And for me, honestly, I feel like you don't really have to explain yourself to people.
yeah,
Like you
yeah,
have every right to say no whenever you feel like accept corner. But how like for you, when do you put your foot down and be like, no, no, what, this is too much now.
yeah. Well, I think firstly, you know a friend, you know with that person, right, who's asking for a favor. So
Mm.
honestly speaking, this is me. I don't mind if you can ask me 20, 50 favors. As long as your favors are genuine and I know that I'm actually helping, I'm not just feeding on your what addictions or desires or whatever you want to do on the side. If I know that I'm helping and also I know that there is some return to that. Return may be being appreciated for that, being paid back, but there is something that comes back in return. So if you ask for something, obviously you need to give something back in return. So for instance, if you come and ask me for money and you don't have groceries and you don't have means of paying me back, that's fine if you're my friend, but I need to know that I'm appreciated. That might be you saying thank you, or that might be you actually taking that money and going to buy groceries. Because I don't have a problem with giving you money to buy groceries. I have a problem with giving you money to buy groceries. Then I come across you buying a new backpack and buying something that you were not meant to. So I,
Let me tell you a story. A friend
yeah,
of mine, I was with Varsity. They
mm,
phone like 150. I need to buy electricity kokaya. Because we ran out of electricity. My brother had being the good person that I am. I send the person 150 rands. Bear in mind, I'm a student. I'm not getting
Yeah.
paid. I'm getting paid for my bursary. I send the 150 rands only to see them 2 days down the line going out with friends, and the audacity to post the guys. I felt so used, guys. And when I asked
Yeah.
her, she was on some no, those were old pictures, what, and I'm like, wow.
Mm.
For me, shame. If I do something for you, you need to return. You need to reciprocate. If you don't,
Exactly.
I will stop.
Exactly.
If you
Exactly.
don't, Jay, I will stop. That's it.
Yeah. The reason why I'm saying, Mina, I'm comfortable with giving you as many favors as you can, as long as there is some reciprocation, is because sometimes we have friends who in real need, like family background is not the same. We have friends.
Please read that. I'm sorry. You have
Don't
to
you know?
read that.
I'm not sure if I was covered. How do you deal with your partners feeling threatened by your friendship? Okay. Now
Oh
we're gonna
my God.
we're gonna go back to that. We're gonna,
We'll come back, guys. Say
yeah.
that.
Um. So I was saying, firstly, we need to, as friends, we need to understand each other. You might be coming from a family that is able to give you 1,000 rand per month to buy groceries, and someone might come from a family who is not able to get that, right? So when a person comes to you probably every month end, it's really because they can't afford, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a genuine friend, you need to be able to discern that, hey, I'm actually helping a person here who's not able to afford. Let me help out. Yabo. And be comfortable, talk about it. See, like I talk to my friends about it. So you need money. Is this monthly thing, or is this just for this month? So that I know if I'm gonna be able to help up. If I can't, I'll tell you in advance before you put your hopes and trusting that I will be able to.
Yes.
So I don't mind how many
Yes.
favors you ask, but I need to know that you're asking for genuine and honest reasons.
Awesome.
But then pay lag and now how?
That's what I'm saying, though. Ukuthi mina shame ngiyaxolisa, guys, genuine or not. If you do not return the favor, you can kiss me goodbye. You are not getting favors from me because I feel like umuntu ugcina eseba comfortable. Yabo.
Yeah, yeah,
And uthole ukuthi omunye, let's say for example, if usevasithi and you know that you are financially struggling, look at your timetable. First of all, evasithi asifundi ngama-weekends. You can get a part-time job. We are both on the side. I'm not saying
yeah.
Gucci that's easy to do, but you can try that so that I can also see who's okay, fine, you're trying. We are born. You can't just always come back and just ask, and you shall receive.
Siphelile
Daisy, I'm
inyanga.
not
Can
giving
I
it
have
to you
another
guys.
one?
I'm not giving. I'm sorry, I'm not giving. So let's spend the most at Gucci,
Okay.
how do you deal with your partner basically being threatened by a friendship if it's a boy girl relationship? Basically, like me and you, how do we deal with your boyfriend and your girlfriend if they at some point feel like they're threatened by our friendship?